Start with the pledge, and I ask if you please respectfully remain standing after the pledge. Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you'll all please remain standing, and please join me in a moment of silence for Mr. Herb Reddle.
May
Thank
he
you.
rest in peace in God's loving hands.
Okay. So first off, all correspondence, all official correspondence is on file at the town clerk's office. Tonight we have another oral report from Climate Smart Task Force on the Repair Cafe. So, ladies, you're up.
Is this where this stays, right here?
You can push it up if you want.
It doesn't move, oh. Okay. Repair Cafe. I'm here to speak about the Repair Cafe for Climate Smart. The first Repair Cafe was started in the Netherlands in 2009, and currently there are over 2,000 in the U.S. and over 30 in the Hudson Valley and Catskills. The goals of the Repair Cafe are simple. Number one, bring back repairing at the local level. 2, maintain repair expertise and spread the how to repair knowledge. 3, promote cohesion in the local community by neighbors from different backgrounds working together to repair things, feel good, and have fun. Back in the day, repairing was a necessity. After World War II, the world embraced consumption, wasteful, not regenerative. We increasingly buy more things and throw away more than ever, filling our landfills or littering our highways. We use items for shorter times, and as soon as they show any wear or defects, we throw them away and buy new. Very few people even think about repairing an item. Repair Cafe motivates and satisfies deeply felt emotions of our nature. It invites you to bring a broken item to be repaired for free by an expert who may be your neighbor. The concept is easy. Find a rent-free location with adequate space. We'll be using either the town hall here in the big room or the library. Plan a schedule. We hope to do 4 times a year, Saturdays, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. The cafe has light food and beverages, and donations are appreciated. The food can be donated. We are working with some restaurants and Dunkin' Donuts, whatever. But also, anybody that buys anything, we appreciate the donations. Patrons check in, fill out a form, sign a waiver, go to the waiting area or the cafe, and wait their turn to see a fixer. Volunteers are the backbone of every repair cafe. They are the fixers, repair coaches, greeters, monitors. They help with check-in, setup, cleanup, the cafe. Whatever needs to be done is done by volunteers. No one is paid. Typical items repaired are lamps, small electronics, appliances, TVs, vacuums, clothing, toys, tools, clocks, and jewelry. There is even going to be a kids take-apart table with adult supervision. Patrons fill out and sign a waiver before any work is done. Work carried out in the Repair Cafe is performed free of charge on a voluntary basis by the repair experts at hand. Patrons help with repairs if possible. Donations are appreciated. Coaches offer no guarantees and are not liable. Repair experts can refuse to repair certain items. Patrons are solely responsible for the removal of broken objects that could not be repaired. any use of new materials such as cords, plugs, fuses. They mostly go for lamps, and that's the most popular item that comes in, would be paid for separately by the owner of the item. The cost is minimal. Total is anywhere between $300 and $600. There's a membership fee to the Repair Cafe, the International Repair Cafe Foundation. And with that comes a starter kit, and it's a one-time cost of $65. That's been paid. A banner, signage, printing, all that, is depending on what we do, how much what we do, what we get. And that can be approximately anywhere from $50 to $160. Rent, $0. Food for the cafe and coaches. Mostly what we get for the repairers and the staff is pizza, and that runs generally $200 to $300, if you can believe that, but it does. I got something, I don't know what it is. Sorry about that. So if the pizzas are donated, then we're scot-free. So for more information, you can Google Sustainable HV //Repair Cafe. That's where all the Hudson Valley Repair Cafes are listed. You can get information on any of the over 30 in the Hudson Valley. And there's a calendar that exists, and you can go on there and find whenever their repair cafe is scheduled. So there's also an excellent book that I have with me. It's called The Repair Revolution, written by John Wackman and Elizabeth, I can't think of her last name now. Sorry about that, here it is. And it's excellent, the library has it. If they don't have it, they will order it and get it in for you. So does anybody have any questions? None?
No, I've seen these implemented.
No,
I mean, I've seen them, Rhinebeck has done them
Yep.
for a while.
Yep.
They seem to work. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that we, have the makeup of, the makings of a good repair cafe, so thank you.
I think that it's a really good community initiative to bring the community together. I just think it's really, it's important. We need it. So, and we also need volunteers, so if anybody is a tinkerer or likes to take things apart and put them together, we need you. Okay, I have one other thing that I'd like to read. And I got permission to do this. This is about the Herbert H. Reddle Memorial Garden. Reddle Park is a beautiful natural place that should be utilized for the benefit of our community. When a group of us walked Reddle Park this past fall, the idea of a native species garden materialized. This area could be used for picnicking, walking, education, and the general enjoyment of nature. A draft proposal was developed and presented to the Pleasant Valley Recreation and the Climate Smart Task Force on January 10th, 2022. However, with the recent passing of Herbert Reddle, we realized that a memorial garden in his honor would be an appropriate way to show his family our appreciation of the generous gift given to our town. It has been over 20 years since this 29-plus acres was donated, and we believe now is the time to do something. The memorial garden would be a native species plant garden that would benefit the climate, our migratory and year-round birds, and decrease the number of invasive species taking over many areas. The garden would occupy less than a half acre and would not impact any future plans for Reddle Park. This project would be done in cooperation and conjunction with the Recreation Committee in small steps, which would be a minimal cost for the town and great benefit to its residents. In order to make Reddle Park accessible for the future and this project, we need a small parking area for access to the park. We have some thoughts on how this could be done with minimal destruction to the property. We suggest that any clearing be done with guidance of our master gardeners so we avoid cutting any keystone trees, shrubs, etc. A good rule of thumb for clearing is to do only what is necessary to keep the property beautiful. The Reddle Memorial Garden will be developed around a native juniper tree area where there are already walking paths. This area would provide a backdrop, shade, and shelter for the native species plants selected. Volunteers would do the planting and also contribute plants. In addition, picnic tables and benches could be added. A bronze memorial plaque will be mounted on a significant stone and placed in the garden. There is a donor for this plaque, but other donations such as plants, the stone itself, mounting the plaque, benches, picnic tables, etc., would also be appreciated. An illustrative map is included, and I got this off of Dutchess County. Thank you. Parcel access. And this is the area right here. This is the juniper trees. And it's an absolute beautiful, beautiful piece of property. And to keep it natural is a wonderful thing. There are things that we can do to it, but it's just gorgeous. And the first nice day in March when the snow is gone and the ice is gone, we want to walk it, so we'll let you know.
We're going on a hike, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
We're going on a hike, and so anybody that wants to join us, we'd love to have you.
Gene, thank you so very much, and you have our 100% support.
Thank you.
Before we go into the meeting, I forgot to make a couple announcements of just some things that are coming events. First off, I want to remind everybody here that we are going to be moving our meeting nights starting in March. So our first workshop in March will be the first Monday in March, and then our first regular meeting will be the third Monday in March. So this will be probably the last workshop that we have on a Wednesday, and on the 16th, I believe, is our next meeting, will be our last regular meeting on a Wednesday night. So we'll be moving to Mondays. Please make note of that. I hate to have you guys showing up and go, where are you? Why you didn't tell us? Also, on the second Monday, I'm going to take a thing I've started, which has been very helpful to me, and hopefully helpful to anyone else who joins. I'm going to bring the think tank live, if you will, and it's going to be just basically in a very relaxed atmosphere where you can speak freely. There's no time limits, nothing like that. And we're going to pick a topic, and we're going to talk it to death until we get it all finished and figured out. And if it's something that kind of coincides with some of the subcommittees that we've started, I'll invite that particular council person to be with us that night so that they can be part of that conversation. Any council person can join, just one. Speaking of subcommittees, we've started several. The water subcommittee will be headed by myself and councilperson Mary Albrecht. The new building, the new town hall subcommittee will be headed up by Councilman O'Hanlon and myself. The rec committee, which looking forward to working with the Climate Smart on all different projects as well, will be headed up with Councilman Mazzella and myself. IT, all that stuff that I can't stand. That committee is being headed up, chaired by Councilman Mazzella and Councilman Reifenberg. Highway issues, that doesn't mean our highway department. It's like things like when you guys come in and say people are speeding too fast, or the Rossway Road project, or things like that. Or we need a stop sign here. How do we go about doing this? That's going to go with Councilman O'Hanlon and Councilman Mazzella. We have no one for the grant committee yet. We're working on that. Finance committee will be headed up by Mr. Reifenberg, or Councilman Reifenberg, and Councilperson Mary Albrecht. Public safety will be Councilman Keith O'Hanlon and myself, and infrastructure will be Councilman Mazzella and Councilman Reifenberg. So those are all set up and they're moving. Some of them have jumped ahead and done a lot of good work already. And one last thing, folks, we need people to come forth who are interested in running Pleasant Valley Weekend. So the bicentennial is over with. They made their final report, and we need people to step up who want to take over the next coming celebration. Okay, so those are the announcements I have. I'm sorry to do them at the beginning. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to open the meeting to the public.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
So, at this point, agenda items only, and stick to the point.
Phil Apicino, Ravine Road. I just want to make one comment on the building, planning, and zoning fees. My comment is regarding the actual building fees. As they stand right now, you need a building permit to put a window in, doors, you know. When the committee did their work, a lot of what we've seen, and this is the way our town used to be, if it was a structural change, it needed a building permit. If you adopt these fees that are on the town's website now, it would be helpful, I think, if you put a clarification on the town's site in the building department. Some towns have a frequently asked questions, you know, when is a building permit required? And I can show you some of the towns that actually went and put it in there and saying, if it's a structural change, you will require a building permit. I think that would save so much confusion for a lot of people. Just something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank you very much, Phil, for your work on the committee. You guys did a great job.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Hearing none, I move to close the meeting to the public.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we were supposed to have Spectrum here tonight. Their renewal of their contract with us is due. It's overdue a couple of years, I believe now. And so I thought, and I think the board agrees, that it would be a good idea to bring them in here and have them answer some of your questions. We see it all the time. I know you all have a story, how service is this and service is that, it's too high for this. So we thought we'd bring them in here and have you ask them the questions before we go forth with any kind of contract. They canceled tonight, and they asked if they can be on the regular meeting for the 16th. So that's where we are with that. So I urge you all to be out here on the 16th, have your questions pre-written and all ready for them. I've asked to start an RFP for architectural design for our new town hall building up on the east side of our town. And I believe we've already got one or two already. I believe CPL has already elected to want to be part of that, and we have another architect company that's also looking at it. So we have to make it official, I guess, at some point next time, right?
Has the RFP's been posted and you're getting?
We're already getting, yes.
Is there a date that you are cutting off the applications?
No, we're going to keep it going and see if we can get a few more, right?
Okay.
Did we do an RFP for this?
No, we
No.
haven't done it.
We haven't done an RFP.
We didn't vote to send one out.
Right, that's what I'm saying, but we have to make it a.
Oh, I didn't understand. the
I'm
question.
getting a lot of people coming already saying, what are we doing? I'm like, well, if you want
Well,
to.
so if I remember correctly, and Emily, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think, because it's a professional service, we don't need an RFP. We could sit down with whomever we want, or everybody, and see who we think is gonna be the best.
Okay, but if we don't need an RFP, we don't need an RFP.
As far as
I think we do.
As far as I
Well-
remember, because it was a professional service, like, according to the both past attorneys, we didn't need one for insurance services, we did not need one for any business-related services, i.e. an architect, an engineer. You don't need an RFP for those.
You don't need to do formal bidding, but it wouldn't hurt to put out some kind of a
Well,
request so that you get, applications.
Sure. I mean, I guess why I'm saying we should sit down and meet with them is because I don't necessarily know what we're asking them to do yet. We haven't figured that out, I don't think.
I think what we do is we put it out there, get some architectural design of some sort, and then maybe get a good look at which way we want to go. I think that'd be the best thing, maybe put it up in the lobby for a few days, and we all can take a look at it, and then we can sit down and hash it out and get a good, good idea which design or which feel we want to go for the town hall.
Okay.
Okay?
I think anything we can do to bring in more bidders, so to speak, is going to be a good thing here.
Well, I get that, but I guess what I'm getting at is we're gonna send out an RFP for what exactly? Like, I mean, I know that we wanna, get working on the town hall, and I get it. But what are we sending out an RFP for? The actual, just to have somebody give us an idea of what town hall could be?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they're gonna do that.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's not an RFP.
No, hold on. First off, there's lots of things that you need. You don't just need an engineer. You need an architectural design. You need a layout of where everything is going to go, what's going to happen. Is an office going to go here? Is an office going to go there? Where the bathroom's going to be related to where they're going to be? Those things need to be laid out before we do. Hold on. We'll bring that. You bring that back when we do the meeting later on. So I think it's a good idea for us to get a plan.
Well, right, so where I remember the town hall being, where the progress stopped, I believe, was CPL did our space needs study, which really would tell us how big offices need to be and whatnot. So I'm assuming we would take that and turn that into some, give us a plan kind of a thing, is what I'm guessing you're getting at, right? So, because we need, we gotta tell people, we can't just say, hey, build me a town hall, or renovate me a town hall. They'd have no idea what rooms need to be what size or anything. So we need to, what I'm saying is we should take that space needs study that CPL gave us that we spent $10,000 on last year. There you go, thank you. And turn that into a plan somehow.
Mr. Supervisor?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of agree with Councilman Mazzella, is that I think we as a board have to figure out what exactly are we asking these architects for, because we're not gonna get 3 architects to come in and say, oh, well, this is the design we have. They're gonna come to us, we gotta hire somebody, and then we have to sit down with them and tell them what we want and what we're looking for in that building. So we might be jumping the gun, putting something out saying, hey, we don't really know what we're looking for. And I think you need to hire an architect before they're gonna do any design work or anything like that. So I don't think anybody here is against doing that, but I think we probably need to sit down and figure out all of that stuff between all of us before going out and hiring an architect.
Well, so there are plans that have been drawn up already twice. I think I have Patchy plans and I believe CPL's version, and those are already there. My thing is they can take those and we can put it out to whoever.
CPL didn't give us plans though, did they?
Yeah, I have it. It's in the office. It's got it all drawn out, everything.
I never saw any plans come from CPL.
I have.
Okay,
I've
okay.
seen them too.
I've seen the originals, I mean, I
They
saw the
exist.
original set
They
of plans from 4-6 years ago, whatever.
They do exist. Trust me.
But those plans, if I'm not mistaken, don't meet code for New York State Court Administration.
No, they
so-
don't, but they give you an idea and a basis of where we can go and what we can look at and how we want to make things go. Do we want to have offices upstairs, downstairs, all those kind of things? We're not architects, we're not engineers. So to lay it out in the proper way, it would be best to give it out to others who are more qualified. That's
Right.
my point, taking from what we already have, giving us an idea, and then they can bring it back and we can decide where we want to go from there.
Yeah, I think we need to keep it basic that we're looking for an architect. That's our RFP. We meet with a bunch of architects, we interview them. It's not gonna be based off of their design or anything, but who we feel is the most.
Well, that's fine too.
Yeah, so I think that's the key to the RFP, is that we're just looking for an architect. They're not gonna give us any design stuff, and we just need to interview people. And I think that's the first step, is just hiring somebody we feel comfortable with, and then we get into all of that design stuff.
That's fine, okay? I would just moving it along.
It was also my understanding that the previous plans, they incorporated the needs of virtually every office in the town except for the courtrooms.
Correct, because
So, yeah,
we have to get from the court system what their minimum requirements are.
so we
still
really
need that
need to
yet.
get that from the judges moving forward and as soon as possible.
It doesn't come from the judges, it comes from New York State Office of Court
New
Administration.
York's, okay. Well, we definitely need to incorporate that.
Yep,
Because, yes, we are pitifully right now below standard, but we're grandfathered in.
right.
Is one of the committees that you've set up working on this project, or
Yes.
is it, okay?
Yes. So the next step would be,
A new building, right?
Maybe since did you say it was CPL that's already did some
they
designs?
did one, and Padgett Engineering did one as well. I have
Yeah,
it in
maybe
the
we,
office.
we start with them, and we've already invested money into them.
Right,
So, I mean, and maybe we can share it with the board.
Padgett. Okay. Anything else being said there? RFP on lawn care.
Can I?
Go ahead, please.
Okay,
Please.
so Sandy and I just had a meeting with Arlington Central School District about, about getting better access. Since we pay to maintain the fields that are beyond the fence line at West Road Schools that the school owns, but we use for majority of our rec programs, we're trying to work with Arlington to get better access because we're having some issues with having to get our contractors off the field versus at the same time frame that kids are going out for recess and everything else, and it's becoming quite a nightmare. So we're doing, actually, we've done quite a bit of work with them the other day, and the next meeting, you and I talked, you'll be there, but we're going to continue that. I don't think it's going to affect this at all, is what I'm trying to say, so I think we can just move with this, but if it does, we might have to change something on the fly.
Okay. And there's something in there about, we have to make sure the background checks and everything, right?
Yeah, so
That's gonna be
anyone
fun.
that's on school property, it's gonna help out the school if, whether it be our contractor or any of our town employees, if we're gonna go, like, say, we're gonna go at 2 o'clock, which is after, say whatever the permitted time that we're allowed to be back on the fields is after recess. We're gonna go and line the fields. Anyone that's out there has to have a passed background check.
Yep,
So,
okay.
sure.
Tom had brought up, is that okay?
Can we wait until, because it's gonna go quick, you can bring it right back, just to keep the form of the meeting, if that's all right.
Yeah, no, this is about the RFP, so I can mention it later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, 4, 5, and 6, we did not advertise correctly for, or we didn't do it all. I believe ZBA vacancy was just recent, but I believe advertising for the Board of Ethics and advertising for the Board of Ethics alternate got a little confusing, so we have to still do that yet again.
So you want me to make a motion?
So I'd like to make a motion for, you want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we advertise for the ZBA vacancy, the ethics seat vacancy, and the ethics alternate seat vacancy for the next 2 weeks. Well, I'm Mary Beth to advertise for it.
I second. Oh, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Building, planning, and zoning fees. So we've looked at these 6 ways to Sunday, and I believe, for the most part, I believe we all agree that we've landed this plane. Is that right, Mr. Pilot? Councilman Reifenberg, I believe we've landed this plane. Is that correct in your estimate?
I hope so.
I hope so too, and I want to take into consideration Mr. Pacino's recommendation to put that in for less confusion.
When you're done.
Go ahead.
Just to address his concern, there is already in our town code, it's chapter 39, section 9, A and B. It actually lays out exactly what we can and we can't charge for. If you go in there, it actually specifically says certain things that we can't charge for. So it might just, when we put these out to the public after we pass them, it might be smart to just attach this section to it.
As a writer,
So, instead of writing our own thing, it's already written for us.
Okay.
So. And I just want to say, like, these aren't perfect. I know I've still been getting complaints about even what we put out. But I just want to reiterate to everybody that if it's not on here, then the fee's remaining what it is today. It's not like we're getting rid of it. So some people have called about oil tank removals and installations, saying we should still have that. That's staying, it's not disappearing. And we can, as a board, always reevaluate certain fees. So that's all I have to say.
So I make a motion, we adopt them as is.
Well, which, so
We
which,
wanna,
the committee recommendation or the in discussion? Just so,
Are we ending the discussion on this?
no, I mean, which, I'm looking at that fee schedule that has three columns of fees. I'm just wondering which one you're
Oh.
making a motion to approve, is my question.
It's the
The third column, the in
last-
discussion?
It should be 4.
Well, do we just, can I, just for the fact that they're gonna have to update these fees, to make it cleaner, do we just wanna put a resolution together for the next meeting that specifically outlines what we're doing? And, you know, March 1st, we transition, because that will give them time to update the forms, and also it will make everything perfect.
Yeah.
Okay,
If that's okay with everybody
I
else.
agree.
I agree.
I agree. Yeah, I think it's easier if we just approve a final like a price, you know.
Either way, it's not starting probably till March 1st, so
Yeah.
there's no reason to rush it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you all should have a look at Superior Security. We asked for several things from several different groups, and this was pretty much more of what we're looking for, I think, when it comes to security. So one of the things we're looking to do is safety and security upgrades here for this building and for the future building that we have, or any other building that we own for that matter. And this is a proposal from Superior Telephone Systems, and they've made a great little proposals for cameras that we need, one in the front, one in the back, and 2 interior for this room, for this building. We do not have at the present time. And they can be taken with us if we decide to vacate this building and move somewhere else. They can be moved to the highway department if we want to use them there. So what we're purchasing here is not something that sticks to this building, even though this building right now needs it. So I think you all have the packet, right? You all took a look at it. I think we sent it via email as well. Any questions or anything like that? Anyone? Mary, anything? No. It's not a bad little proposal. And followed by this will be the lights that we're looking at to really illuminate this. If you all know how bad the lights are out in front of here, and it's dark, and it's not safe. We have, wintertime, we have, people leaving this building at 4:30, and it's pitch black, and it's bad. So between lights and cameras, we'll have some action.
And this thing, whole system, we keep in-house, correct?
I'm sorry, but
We keep that
We
in-house,
keep it
the
all
data.
in-house,
we keep it all down.
and we don't pay a monthly fee to anybody?
No monthly fee. And what's great about this is if we want to put an app on our phones, we can have that whole breakdown system that we have where it comes up and it can tell us what's going on, just like some of these folks have with their
ring
on their bell on their thing. So we can know at all times what's happening right here at the building. COVID protocols. So again, I want to commend our staff. Over the last few weeks, we've been tossed into the distribution business of COVID tests without any direction whatsoever, and our staff in the clerk's department handled it exceptionally well. And what we get, you get. So as soon as we get it, they distribute it. Unfortunately, at one point in time, the county did not list us as a distribution spot, so we were left off that, but we corrected that quickly. I believe we just passed out yet another 400, what was it? 440. With ease. I believe more is coming. Understand this, folks, we get notified like the day before, the night before, that they have a bunch to give to us. I myself, I go pick them up, I bring them to the town clerk, she sets up a method of distributing, and we put it on the website immediately, right, Jen? And we've had people for the last few days, and 440 went like that. So when we get them, you'll get them, we'll announce it. And as far as the rest of the protocols, please stay safe. Do the things you need to do. If you're sick, stay home. If you're sick, please do not come here. Stay home. If you want us to get you a test, we'll get it to you. I shouldn't have said that. But please, do the right things, and we'll go forth from there, and follow all the guidelines from the county. And that brings us to Granicus software.
Mike, you want me to start, or do you want to?
No, yeah, if you guys can give an overview of your meetings and stuff, because.
Yep, so we had a live demo of this agenda management software, as well as we also had, Mary Beth and I had a live demo of their FOIL management software, actually, which would really kind of streamline a lot of things. You could submit a FOIL request on our website. All your FOIL stuff is then cataloged in the sense of you can go back and retrieve them electronically anytime you want. If you actually go to FOIL something that someone recently already FOILed, it'll actually stop you in your process of trying to submit the FOIL and actually just give you those documents. So it's pretty interesting, it's pretty intuitive, there is a cost behind it, but looking at the time savings of, like, say Mary Beth gets just for instance, a FOIL for the court, let's say. In the software, she can ping one of the court clerks to fill the FOIL request for her. It'll ping Mary Beth back once she has all the documents. They're all uploaded. Then, depending if it's case, depending on how sensitive it is, Mary Beth can give Emily something to redact any information, and then we could just submit the FOIL, all without having to walk across, handle paper. It's all done in a timely fashion. I think it's fantastic. So to break down the cost, the upfront cost for the setup, there's a one-time setup charge of $4,500, and then annually for everything, which is the peak agenda management software, the government transparency suite, the essentials package 2, which I believe covers all the FOILs, all the data we put in the cloud, which is there's no cap on, and all the cataloging, as well as if you go online, when you get to, say you want to just hear us talk about the architect, when the minutes go live on the website, you click the architect, it'll just fast forward to that portion of the meeting, where you no longer have to sit through 42 people talking about their neighbor's dog doing something on their property. So the whole suite annually will cost us for the first year $12,418. And the second year, it increases, I think, because, annually everything increases. So the second year is $13,442.15. So.
I
Okay.
got to see this in Wappingers, and I'd like to thank him for doing that. I can't even remember his first name.
Joe.
Joe. He was amazing with us and brought us through the whole program, and this is just going to streamline and bring us up to this century for the first time.
Now,
Agreed.
is this something that is going to replace something we already have in place?
So
or
this
is
is-
this fully an additional
This
expense?
is going to kind of replace that email that Jen sends around on a Wednesday or Thursday or Monday or whenever she sends it to us. That's going to replace this whole, so we on the back end, let's just give a quick synopsis. We on the back end as board members would have access to log in and say, Keith, you want to add something to the agenda. You could physically add it without having much to do. John has the ability as the supervisor to approve it or disapprove it, making the agenda itself, right? So you can add whatever you want, and John would approve or disapprove. You can add documents. We can move documents from one, you can move it from a resolution to something else, or say we need more time, we could table it. You could do all those things. Mary Beth actually physically could be just checking boxes as we're in the meeting. By the time the meeting's over, her minutes are done. On the user end, everyone out in video land will get an email once we make those documents live, which would happen the Friday before the meeting, but you'd get everything. If, for instance, we have a spelling correction or a resolution needs to change because some simple verbiage, we would just upload a new document to that system, so you would not get a new notification. You would just see all the live documents that were, we could change one as we needed to if for some reason. So it's a pretty seamless system.
But no, I think you missed my question, is we are not replacing or upgrading something that we already have.
We are.
We are replacing, we're replacing the whole system that Jen puts in place of sending us emails, and
Stop.
that's what we're
We
replacing.
are replacing something. There's a thing that we've had since 2005 called Laserfiche, okay? I found this out. So there's a thing that we've had and been paying for since 2005. It's called Laserfiche, and it kind of collects a lot of our data a lot of the way you said. Unfortunately, it's never really been applied as it should have. If we get this, it would be a better system altogether because it does a lot more than what that did. From what I understand, that almost acts like, and excuse my lack of knowledge on these, a cloud where you store things. Mary Beth, what did we store the last thing? What was the last thing stored? I think we've used it twice in the last 5 years. What was it again? Last thing was what was it? Oh, we had to go back for the budget lines, things we changed.
Oh, no, that was the local,
That was something else?
yeah, that was.
In any case, the last time we used it was probably 3 years ago. Okay, and then prior to that was 3 years ago again. So it is replacing something that we do have and have been paying for. So that'd be great. We'd have to pay for 2. That's to answer your question, yes, we can.
And it's estimated to save, on average, over 10 hours of payroll a week. So if you do the math, it's gonna pay for itself.
Mr. Reifenberg.
Yeah, and I also, residents and the town has been asking for better transparency, getting agendas and resolutions and all that stuff out on time, searching the website and trying to find things. This is a good start, and I know we've talked that, there might be a couple other options to pursue to see what they come out with, but we need to do something.
Right.
Because I am so blown away with how we're actually able to put an agenda together, thank you, Jen, and get this all out, because it's so chaotic, and trying to go back and forth, and I don't know how it actually gets done, because we're in the Stone Age still as a town when it comes to this stuff, and this is, like you said, honestly, the way I'm looking at this is, yeah, it costs $12,000 to do, but we're gonna free up so much time of some of our staff that we can take on things to provide better services for the residents that we've never thought about,
Right.
because they've just been spending 10 hours a week trying to put together a simple agenda.
Right.
So,
I totally agree, and I will say, over the last couple of times, we've worked it out to where we've been sticking to the deadline. One of the things that we will stick to the deadline, even with this, is that everything has to be in and out to the public in enough time so that the public can digest it and look at it and find it on our website and be able to see it and do their homework and their due diligence so they can speak on it. So those deadlines are gonna stay the same regardless, how fast this is. There's not gonna be a last-second rush to get things onto the agenda because that's not gonna happen again. And Jen has done a great job sticking with the deadline over the last, we've had 3 meetings. So we've not had any last-second run-ins and a couple little minor tweaks, but that's about it. So yes, to Jen's credit, she pulls together a great agenda in the last second, so, but that's stopped. Okay.
yeah.
So we have to, because of the numbers, I guess we have to put this out to 2 other companies, correct? And go to bid on this?
Well, technically speaking, no, because we're procuring more than one different package here. So I think if you do it that way, I mean, if you do it, like, the way that they're gonna invoice us is they're gonna invoice us for peak agenda management, the government transparency suite all separately. So no, but again, I think this is a professional service. I don't necessarily know if this qualifies, but we can.
Emily?
I'd want to check your procurement policy. Are you wanting to act on this tonight?
Oh, no, we'll
Oh,
have that.
All right, yeah, so.
But Sue, we
let me
do
know.
want-
No, well, the price is only good till the end of February, so we have to vote on it by next meeting.
Yeah, but I
Check the
would
procurement
definitely like
policy.
the attorney to go over it to make sure that we're not breaking any rules by
Right.
not putting this out to bid.
So you'll get back to me on that, okay. Anything else on Granicus? I'm learning how to say the word. All right. All right, so we have some old business, some resolutions, which I don't like to do on workshops, but this is old stuff that we had laying over from other things. One of them being appointment of a clerk part-time, accountant clerk part-time, and she's here with us tonight. Everyone say hello to Samantha, and I'll read the resolution. Town Board Resolution 2001-2022, reappointment of a account clerk part-time, whereas Town Law, Section 2915 establishes the position of bookkeeper, which position shall be filled by appointment of the supervisor to serve at his or her pleasure. And whereas the Town Board is desirous of hiring an account clerk part-time for the bookkeeping office to assist the bookkeeper and perform routine duties, which may include filing within an established file system, looking up information and manuals and automated systems, transposing and verifying information, photocopying, copier duties, light typing, taking messages, and keeping activity records. See job description and other duties. Whereas the account clerk part-time is considered to be in the non-competitive class pursuant to the rules for the classified civil service of Dutchess County, and whereas the town of Pleasant Valley advertised for qualified candidates to fill said position, and whereas Samantha Wan has expressed an interest in serving in such a capacity as account clerk part-time for the bookkeeping office, and whereas the 2022 adopted budget appropriated funds for the position of clerk for bookkeeping office, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Pleasant Valley does hereby appoint Samantha Wan to the position of account clerk part-time for bookkeeping office at the salary of $18 per hour for 20 hours per week, with the probationary period of 6 months, and be it further resolved that the town supervisor and the town bookkeeper are hereby authorized and directed to file any and all documents necessary to effectuate the intent of this resolution. This mask is right.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Welcome to the team. Okay. Town Board Resolution number 2002-2022, approving memorandum of agreement with Local 456 International Brotherhood of Teamsters. Do we need, were we supposed to check in with,
We are,
at this point?
well, it depends if you have any questions on this item.
I was there, so I don't know if the board does or not.
No,
I'll read it. If you guys have questions, and we have to call her up.
no, yeah, I've been I don't have any questions. I've been, yeah,
Okay.
I've asked.
All right, so I'll read it. Approving the memorandum agreement with the Teamsters. Whereas Local 456 International Brotherhood of Teamsters, the union, is recognized employee organization representing certain employees of the town of Pleasant Valley, the town, and whereas the representatives of the town and the union engaged in negotiations and reached an agreement on the terms and conditions of a successor memorandum of agreement, MOA, to the collective bargaining agreement, the CBA, between the parties covering the period of January 1st, 2022 to December 31st, 2024, which is annexed hereto, and whereas the town has satisfied any obligation to meet and confer with in good faith over the terms of a successor MOA. Now therefore be it resolved that the MOA between the town and the union attached hereto and incorporated herein is adopted by the town board, and be it further resolved that it is not the intent of the town board in adopting this resolution to create any right or obligation extending beyond the effective term of the attached MOA.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes, I have a quick question for our attorney here. I was a member of Local 456 for a few years. I don't have a vested pension with them or anything, but I was a member. Should I recuse myself?
You're not anymore, so I don't think it would have any effect on you, but if you feel more comfortable, you could.
Well, then I'll err on the side of caution, and I will recuse myself from this vote.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Give me the whole thing. But I have this. All right. Some more old business.
Do we have to vote to untable this?
Excuse me?
Do we have
We
to
have to vote to
untable this?
untable? Yeah. I'll make a motion that we untable Resolution 1029 of 2022.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Town Board Resolution 102922, appointing a dog control officer. Be resolved that Dutchess County SPCA is hereby appointed as dog control officer for the town of Pleasant Valley for 2022.
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion?
Thank you, thank you, Councilwoman Albrecht.
Yep.
Yes, the contract is
Good job.
signed, so I was going to make the motion to withdraw, the tabling anyway, so.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Are we,
Oh,
This
yeah,
is another one.
sorry,
Uh,
sorry.
hold
I'll
on,
make a
hold on,
motion.
hold on. So there's still no information, as far as I'm concerned yet, exchanging this either way.
Well, we got to
We need
untable
to
it
go
before,
back into.
we got to untable it to talk about it, hold on. I'll make a motion that we untable Resolution 1022 of 2022.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good.
So there hasn't been any real serious discussion or any evidence brought forth either way to make a decision here, and we're past the point now where this becomes, I believe, more of an inconvenience than for the people that would think of changing it to. It might be wiser to go forth the way we are and then do this at the right time when these things change, which would be probably in, what would you say, like late August? Or when do you usually change insurance companies?
End of the year.
Yeah, I think it's usually year end.
Right.
So I'm not trying to argue your fact, but I am going to say, we're not changing insurance companies, we're just changing brokers.
Correct.
So it makes things a little easier, I think. It's just a simple form that anyone would have to fill out.
Right, but there is still no real discussion or real evidence as to why we would be changing. There's been nothing brought forth.
Mr. Supervisor? Just without going into exactly what we talked about in executive session, was there any looking into the money aspect that we talked about? And, because we weren't really sure if we would lose
Right,
a ton.
there
Did
has
you get
been,
an
but we'd
answer
have
to
to
that?
save that for executive session. We'd have to do it again there.
So you have an answer to that?
Mhm.
Okay.
So should we,
Save it for executive session?
yep. So I'll motion to table 1022 again.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, this is another wonderful, confusing little one that we thought we had all figured
right.
out.
I will make a motion, well, we didn't even table this, because we didn't.
I know.
We didn't have a name.
Right, right. But the confusion was almost comical. All right, this is for, no, this is, where is it? Yeah, right here. All right, so So, it was assumed that when Councilman Reifenberg was elected, he would leave the planning board, which he did. He resigned from the planning board, and it was assumed that they would just make their own decision and put somebody in his place from the alternate spot. We thought we were advertising for the alternate spot, and that was one of the reasons why this was a little confusing, and we did, and we got that part done. So this is to actually appoint from the alternate position to the planning board that was decided by the planning board, and we're just making it official, correct? I got it, all right. So Town Board Resolution 1032, 2022, appointment of planning board member. Whereas Michael Reifenberg has submitted his letter of resignation from the Town of Pleasant Valley Planning Board on November 18th, 2021. And whereas now exists an opening for the alternate member of the Town of Pleasant Valley Planning Board to fill the term. And be it resolved that the Town Board of Pleasant Valley does hereby designate and appoint
Eric?
Eric Check,
Yep.
alternate, he was an alternate to fill the member of Town Pleasant Valley Planning Board for the term to expire on December 31st, 2022.
So moved.
Second? Can we have a quick discussion?
Sure.
So, this isn't really about Eric specifically, but I think it would be beneficial if we had a quick discussion of the process. Eric's been, I have no problem voting in favor of Eric because I know Eric from working with him on the planning board. I think we need to iron out a process as a board for the fact that Eric's been listed on the website for the last month as a planning board member. I don't know if up until now we even had a conversation with both alternates at the time before that was posted on there.
I believe they did, we did clarify that, that was taken.
Okay, and I just, has anybody met Eric in the last month or two?
He was here just the other day.
So you've met him. So my point is, I would like to see a more formal process of keeping track of these positions, because one of our jobs as the five of us is I believe we need to take the appointments and reappointments to these boards a little bit more seriously, for the fact that, you know, this went missed, and I'd volunteer to help set up some organization or a spreadsheet of all the boards, and maybe 2 months prior to them running out of the term, maybe we say, hey, one of us or somebody appointed in the town reaches out to them and says, hey, are you still interested? If so, does any board members want to meet this person before reappointing them? Because most of the people on these boards, I'll be honest with you, most of these terms are 6 years long. Nobody here sat here and appointed most of these people, and we don't even know them, half of them. So I would like to see, and I'm willing to work with whoever to set more of a formal process of how these are handled, so things like this don't happen, because then people get upset, or they see Eric's name there, and not saying this happened here, but it could happen in the future. And I want people to want to volunteer and help out. And I just, you know, it's happened in the past where people got upset, and I know you're doing a much better job at doing that. But I would like to work with whoever to
I agree.
maybe set up a better process.
Just for quick clarification, though, granted, that software will handle the managing of all of our appointments. It'll tell us, like, what we put in, we created a committee with this many people, with their terms expiring, it'll let us know when it does everything.
That would be awesome.
So no need to waste the time to create a spreadsheet, is what I'm trying to say.
And just really quickly on that, the planning board does have a great system. They really do. I mean, they have the alternates constantly involved. So in this case, it wouldn't be the case where you'd have to ask Mr. Check if he still wants to be involved.
Well, I believe that, yes, I would want their opinion on who they believe, but at the end of the day, the five of us answer to who we appoint on those
Right,
boards.
correct.
So I think we should be involved in the process of picking whoever's going to take that position.
Right.
These are very serious boards that we have no oversight over. So I think it would be, my opinion is we should take these appointments a little bit more, put more effort into making sure that they're right appointments. That's all I'm saying.
And that brings us to, Michael, you want to?
We didn't vote on that
We
one.
didn't vote
Oh, we
on
didn't
this
vote?
yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yep.
So we were on discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Do you want me to read this?
yes. Well, you know, just motion to bring it in.
Do we want to read it first
You gotta,
before I
yeah,
make
you
the
gotta read
motion?
first.
So is she going to read it and I'll make the motion?
Oh,
You're gonna
one of you could,
You read it. You read
Okay,
it.
I'll read it. Town of Pleasant Valley Town Board Resolution Number 2003-2022, addressing and preventing workplace violence. Whereas the Town of Pleasant Valley, the town continues to be committed to providing a safe work environment for all its employees and those that it serves. And whereas the town is committed to responding promptly to threats, acts of violence, and acts of aggression by employees and against employees by coworkers, members of the public, or others. And whereas, although many discussions within executive session are kept confidential, in the interest of transparency and to promote healthy communication within the community pertaining to the important topic of workplace violence, without waiving attorney-client privilege, the town wishes to disclose the contents of a discussion that it had with respect to a recent workplace violent complaint. And whereas with respect to a complaint of workplace violence that was made against Supervisor DeValchio in or around May 2021, the board met and discussed same in executive session, during which then Councilman Delvecchio was not in attendance after properly recusing himself from the discussion.
I'm sorry, I think we meant to change it to then Councilman Delvecchio in both places where it was.
Okay.
That's an error.
So do you want me to read it all, and then I'll make a motion to amend it, or do you want me to just read it that way?
You could just read it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Whereas with respect to a complaint of workplace violence that was made against then Councilman Delvecchio in or around May 2021, the board met and discussed same in executive session, during which then Councilman Delvecchio was not in attendance after properly recusing himself from the discussion. Now therefore be it resolved that the alleged conduct of Supervisor Delvecchio, even if true, does not constitute
Alleged,
Then Councilman.
then councilman.
that the alleged conduct of then Councilman Delvecchio, even if true, does not constitute workplace violence. However, all board members must be reminded of the applicable guidelines and rules pertaining to executive session. And be it further resolved that the board has determined the board's labor and employment attorney shall counsel all members with respect to the confidentiality of executive session and workplace violence complaints to ensure compliance by all. And be further resolved that with respect to a workplace violence complaint made against a community member, the town board has determined that the conduct alleged to have occurred is unacceptable and that appropriate corrective actions have been taken with respect to this member. And be it further resolved that the town board has reviewed its workplace violence policy and has discussed measures to ensure continued compliance with the policy, as well as additional measures that it may take in the future to ensure the safety of staff and that they feel comfortable while at work. I'll make a motion.
Second.
Discussion, and yes, I would like to just put in for the record. For the record, I voted for this process to go forward. I believed in the process, and I'm glad it finally has shown that I was not a person that they say I was. That's all in the past. It's done and over with, and I'm very glad it's it's all over with now, and I would very much like to thank those who did not believe it. And I promise that if this ever came up again, that this would not be a political football again, and like to move forward and get past all of it and end this wonderful chapter.
Here, here.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That being,
That brings us to,
are we,
hold on. That's all for our old business, right?
Yeah.
We would like to make a motion to
Yeah.
open up the meeting to the public once again.
so moved?
Is there anything?
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Sure.
Anyone second it?
Second?
I did.
Oh,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Eric Check. His father is Dick Check. Very active over the years on the planning board and commissions dealing with it. Can't tell you, you haven't found a better guy. That's one. I think that's basically it. And I will come fix this stupid thing. I found a good home for it. I think we have showed progress to get things passed. That hasn't happened before. Thank you.
Can I take this one? Sandy Cole, Pleasant Valley Rec Director. I went over the RFP for the lawn care. I'm waiting to get any response that Tom might have on it. He was out today. But he mentioned to me that last year he had met or he spoke with Supervisor Zazinski, and there is a way that you don't have to have an RFP every year. If the vendor comes back, well, go ahead.
Paul had mentioned that there's a way to do it with like almost like adding a contract onto it. So like the second year can be like an added option for them where like you're the best price this year, you're gonna give us the same price next year, you know, so.
So I don't know if that's possible moving forward.
Might be nice to do this every other.
I'll find out tomorrow for you.
Okay, and then I'll ask Tom for any of his suggestions. And there are typos that I can go over with Jen tomorrow that I found.
Okay.
Because Tom's really the one that actually walks the parks with them.
Right,
So
right.
he really knows the ins and outs. And then I just have a suggestion because the guidelines with the mask requirements and everything else are constantly changing. Can we have this, whatever the town's guidelines are on the website? And the reason why I'm asking this is questions came up with the seniors. You know, are they, in terms of, you're supposed to wear a mask inside, so if someone has a medical issue, are they allowed to take it off? If someone doesn't, do we ask them to leave if they
So
don't?
we're following the guidelines set up by the county. That's basically what we're going by. So the county has it on their website. We can certainly download it, maybe just add it to ours, so it's clear.
Yeah, because the one that I have from CDC, they're saying you're supposed to wear the masks inside unless
So
there's a
that's-
medical issue.
That's the CDC, and that changes pretty much every day.
In a heartbeat.
Right. So when, they haven't been able to figure out, the state has theirs, and our county has decided to opt out of what the state is doing. So we're following the county, seeing that they're the closest to us.
Okay, because if we could, you know, some of them, God forbid somebody tests positive, are we using the home test, or is it the PCR test that, you know?
So we have, we've had several situations which are going to be coming up, and we're going to be talking about in a little bit in executive session. Scenarios that have happened exclusively to us, and we're going to probably come out of that with a little bit more of a better form for you, okay?
Okay, yeah, because, you know, do we contact the Department of Health? Do we tell the people that are sitting at the table?
Again, once we come out, we'll figure it out a little better.
Okay,
All right.
thanks.
Hello, Mary
Hello.
Meyer, Clark Heights. I have two things. The software you guys were talking about. So that software you said that we've had and haven't been using, how much money have we been wasting on that? And that was the difference between that
It's
and
not
and-
exactly wasting. Let me rephrase that. We've spent since 2005 approximately $30,000 keeping an account open to use it. It has been used.
Okay.
But not to the extent of where we think now that this company here and the things that we're going to add to it and the application that we're going to put, we'll be using it a lot more. And that one doesn't have.
So the
all
difference
that.
between what that cost and the new cost, there shouldn't be any change in our budget for that? Or I'm
This
just,
will be a little bit more-
I'm just throwing it out there, just wondering how much money we're talking, like difference between how much, you
Right.
guys said that was 13,000 a year versus that
This,
software.
this application will be probably better for us because it's going to be streamlining a lot of our work. And it's probably going to be better for you because you.
Oh, sure.
the
No, I'm
public,
just
will
thinking
see
of
the
of
entire-
the dollars, between, like what we're spending on one versus then,
Well, a lot of this is one-time fees in the
Yeah, yeah.
beginning, upfront to get it going. I would imagine it's probably a little bit more than what we're already spending from this other company because it's a little bit more intense.
Yeah.
But not much.
okay.
And
I was just curious how much more or less, or it's gonna be a wash between the two, but, okay. And my second question goes to the architect. You guys we're going back and forth of where we stand, what's the plans. I was up here a year ago, I believe it was, in March, when our last architect, or last engineer was here, and he had thrown out a lot of options. Mary had even mentioned something about there maybe being another option of putting town hall at one of the meetings. But I've been to all the meetings last year, and there was no discussion on, he had thrown out there, tearing it down, rebuilding it, moving it to someplace else. But I don't recall there ever become some consensus of what you actually were going to do. Tear it down, keep it up, renovate it. So I'm just throwing that out there, because I know that happened last year. So getting an architect is great, but I don't think as a board, you guys ever decided if you're going to tear it down.
Good point, Mary, and let me just add, let me
Yeah.
tell you this. I know I'm a proponent of going into that building. And,
Yeah.
I've been in the building several times, and I believe, and maybe it was my zeal that caused this to go a little faster than I would like to see, but I do want to see it go. So, yes, maybe we should establish that we are going to renovate that building
Okay.
first, and decide that all together as a board.
Because I know that he had thrown out big numbers.
Yeah, those numbers,
Yeah, to keep it, move it to Reddle's Park. I mean, he had thrown out a bunch of things at that meeting.
Right.
And I didn't think that as a board, you guys had come to any conclusion of actually what you were going to do.
I think you're 100% right, and the first step will be that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Evening, J. Mark, Clark Heights. So it's not really agenda item, but it brings up to old business. What is the plan with Helen Aldridge with the bathrooms, and where do we see that going? Because here it is, February. Your camps that are supposed to go there is gonna be coming up soon. I know there's other events coming up for that plan, for that park very soon, within the next quite a few months. So what are we doing? Because I heard there was a problem with the property lines of two different parcels. I heard different problems with the bathrooms and,
So we're going to most likely rethink that entire project and put it into a different plan, maybe something,
Well, I wouldn't say that just yet. We didn't vote on that.
No,
We
we
vo-
didn't
we
vote on
voted
it,
to
but-
have the project move
Yeah.
forward that it currently is, that Jay's currently talking about. To answer your question, though, we fixed we did conjoin the two properties.
okay.
well, I don't want to go into that.
I understand, but, you know, it's kind of the same thing with Camp Notre teaming. I'll bring that one for another perfect example. It was never given to the town residents of what our interests were if we wanted to pursue it or we didn't. And from what I understand, rumor has, who knows, we lost, the counties didn't do anything with it. You know, it seems like we're dragging these projects year after year after year, and I'm not blaming you guys on a board, I'm not. But there's no transparency of what we're doing with these projects. We have, you know, old business that's been going on for umpteen million years, and if we can move in a progressive way, so we're not so transparent. You know, you have on here, for zoning boarding vacancy, you have this like that. How come we can't just have a simple description on here, okay, person retired, Mr., Councilman Rickberg, vacated that position to become, on town board. It would just be easier to understand that, because I don't go to the town board, planning meetings. People don't. Can we be a little bit more descriptive maybe on what we're doing for our agendas?
Okay, so I believe we'll be addressing that with this new software. We'll have a little bit more in-depth agendas, being able to put out there more descriptions, what you'd like.
Yes, I think
Okay.
it'll be a little
And-
bit easier for the fellow taxpayers, everybody here pays taxes to the town, I believe.
We'll take that under consideration for sure, and I would, to answer your other question, as far as projects that have been left out, we're gonna take them one by one. And this is a new board, this is a new day, and we're gonna take them one by one and address each one of them. So you'll be hearing something that was spoken about 2 years ago and was never brought up again. You'll hear it again, and the difference is this board's gonna follow through.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? Come on, kids, I know you guys are itching. I saw you ready, Scott.
Scott Larson, 74 Ring Road, whatever those two said.
Want to do the 1-2 punch? No? Okay.
Hearing no one else?
Anyone else?
Move to close the meeting to the public?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to move into an executive session for personnel.
I'll make a motion for executive session 105.1F.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
You
Did you eat dinner?
Oh, ain't this fine?
She had some chocolate.
And you had chocolate.
All right, I will make a motion to come out of executive session at 9:28.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'll make a motion that we untable resolution 1022 of 2022, designating the insurance agents.
I'll second that resolution.
All in favor?
Aye.
And then if I'm not mistaken, there's no changes. We've already motioned it and seconded it all from that meeting back in January. All we have to do is vote.
Right, you don't have to read it.
We don't have to reread it, we're not making any changes.
It's already been, motioned, it's already been motioned.
It's already motioned from January. We're just untabling it.
It's already been motioned and second, right?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.